What if I told you that the same white powder you probably use to clean your kitchen sink, or maybe to calm an upset stomach, could actually help restore firmer, longer-lasting erections after 60? Sounds ridiculous, right? But I want you to hold on a moment, because what I'm about to share might change how you think about your body, your confidence, and even your future in the bedroom. This isn't a gimmick, and it's not some internet rumor either. It's real, backed by science. And it starts with something so simple, most men overlook it every single day. Baking soda. Now, I get it. When you hear the words baking soda, you probably don't think of improved blood flow or better intimacy. But you should, because what's hiding in that little orange box in your pantry might just be one of the most overlooked tools for men over 60 to feel stronger, more responsive, and more in control again. And believe me, after treating men's health for over 3 decades, I've seen how powerful a few small changes can be. If you're over 60 and you've been frustrated by softer erections, slower arousal, or just feeling like something's missing in the bedroom, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not powerless. Because there are natural, safe, and surprisingly effective ways to support your performance again. In fact, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. I'm Dr. Eisenberg, a men's health specialist with over 35 years in urology and hormonal care. I've helped thousands of men over 60 navigate the frustrating, often unspoken changes that come with age, from soft erections to fading confidence. And what I've discovered might surprise you. Some of the most powerful solutions don't come from the pharmacy, they come from your own kitchen. In this video, I'll show you 10 science-backed ways baking soda can support stronger erections, better circulation, and more energy, especially for men over 60. These aren't theories. They're real benefits I've seen in my patients. And near the end, I'll also share a simple morning mix that helped one man turn things around in just a few weeks. Before we dive in, if you're a man over 60 and you're serious about natural ways to stay strong, sharp, and sexually confident, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon. I post clear, honest health tips just like this every week. And if this topic speaks to you already, just type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. I read every comment, and your feedback helps shape what we cover next. Alright, let's get into it. Starting with the first benefit. Most men don't realize this, but one of the biggest silent blockers to a healthy erection isn't low testosterone or even age. It's your blood's pH. As you get older, your body tends to become more acidic, which quietly tightens blood vessels and makes it harder for blood to flow where it's needed most. And without good flow, you simply can't perform. Here's where baking soda comes in. It helps balance your blood's pH, creating a more alkaline environment that allows your vessels to open up again. And that's the first major benefit. Benefit number 1. Balances blood pH to improve circulation. When your blood becomes too acidic, something that happens naturally with age, stress, poor diet, and even some medications, it creates tension inside your arteries. Your vessels get narrower, stiffer, and less responsive. The result? Sluggish blood flow and weaker erections, even if everything else checks out fine on your labs. That was the case for Leonard, one of my patients, a 67-year-old retired builder. He came into my office frustrated. "Doc, I still want to be close to my wife, but nothing's happening. I feel disconnected from my body." His heart was healthy, his testosterone wasn't terrible, but something wasn't clicking. So I dug a little deeper and checked his acid-base levels. Sure enough, his internal pH had shifted toward acidic. Now, this isn't something most men get tested, but it's more common than you'd think. The problem is, even a small shift in acidity can reduce how well your vessels expand. Think of it like a garden hose with a kink in it. Water can still get through, but barely. Blood flow to the penis works the same way. Baking soda, or sodium bicarbonate, acts as a gentle alkalizer. Taken properly in small amounts on an empty stomach, it helps nudge your pH back into a healthier range. And when your blood becomes more alkaline, your vessels can relax. That means smoother, freer circulation and more blood reaching the areas that matter during arousal. For Leonard, I recommended a morning routine. Half a teaspoon of baking soda in a glass of warm water with lemon taken before breakfast. Within 3 weeks, he came back with a grin and said, "I don't know if it's the baking soda or the lemon or what, but I feel more alive again." And my wife noticed too. Balancing your pH might seem like a small shift, but it lays the foundation for everything else. Better blood flow, better oxygen delivery, and a better chance of restoring the kind of responsiveness you may have thought was gone for good. Benefit number 2, reduces inflammation in blood vessels. Now that your blood is flowing more freely, there's another silent issue we need to tackle. One that quietly damages blood vessels and disrupts your performance without warning. Inflammation. Most men think their problem is low testosterone, but in many cases, it's not the hormone. It's the highway the hormone travels on. And inflammation is like a slow-burning fire along that highway. It damages the inner lining of your arteries, the endothelium, making it harder for blood to reach your penis when you need it most. That's exactly what was happening to Emeka, a 70-year-old former school principal. Fit for his age, never smoked, ate fairly well. But when he sat down in my office, he looked tired. Not just in his body, but in his spirit. "I feel like I'm always pushing uphill," he said. "I want to be present with my wife, but my body's working against me." His blood sugar was under control. Cholesterol wasn't perfect, but not terrible. What stood out? Elevated CRP, C-reactive protein, a marker for internal inflammation. That was the missing piece. This is where baking soda makes a quiet but powerful difference. Research shows that sodium bicarbonate can activate anti-inflammatory pathways, particularly in the kidneys and spleen, helping the immune system calm down when it's overreacting. And when the inflammation fades, the blood vessels start to soften again. They open. They respond. I put Emeka on a simple plan. Half a teaspoon of baking soda in water first thing in the morning, followed by a 15-minute walk. No medication. No drastic changes. Within a month, he came back with more energy, a clearer head, and he leaned in and said, "It's coming back, document slowly, but it's there." That it wasn't just physical. It was confidence. When inflammation goes down, blood flow improves. And when blood flow improves, everything else, sensation, arousal, responsiveness, starts to come back online. Benefit number 3, supports natural nitric oxide production. Now that we've cleared some of the roadblocks, acidity, and inflammation, your blood vessels are finally ready to respond. But even then, your body still needs a signal. A green light, something that tells the vessels, "Open up, it's time." That signal is nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is one of the most important molecules in a man's body for sexual performance. It's what triggers blood vessels to dilate, muscles to relax, and blood to rush into the penis when you're aroused. Without it, you can feel desire in your mind, but your body won't follow through. That's exactly what happened to Frank, a 66-year-old retired banker. Still active, still sharp, but something was missing. "Doc," he said, "I still want intimacy. I still feel it. But it's like my body's ignoring me. Like the signal just isn't getting through." Frank's testosterone was within normal range. His blood pressure was fine. So I looked deeper, and it pointed back to nitric oxide. The chemical spark his body wasn't producing the way it used to. Here's where baking soda surprised him. No, it doesn't contain nitric oxide. But what it does do is help preserve and support the conditions your body needs to make it. When your system is too acidic or inflamed, nitric oxide breaks down quickly. But baking soda gently shifts your body back into balance, reducing oxidative stress, protecting the blood vessel lining, and helping nitric oxide stick around longer. I added one thing to Frank's morning routine: a glass of warm water, half a teaspoon of baking soda, and a squeeze of lemon. I also taught him a simple breathing exercise to boost nitric oxide levels. 3 weeks later, he told me, "I woke up this morning like I was in my 40s. It wasn't just physical, it felt natural again." And that's the power of nitric oxide. It reconnects the brain to the body. And baking soda, in its quiet way, helps that connection stay strong. Benefit number 4, improves oxygen delivery to erectile tissue. Even with good blood flow and a solid nitric oxide response, there's still one more piece to the performance puzzle: oxygen. Because when that blood reaches the penis, it has a job to do. It needs to deliver fresh, oxygen-rich nutrients directly to the tissue. Without enough oxygen, your erection may not be firm, may not last, or may not even happen at all. This was the case with David, a 72-year-old former airline mechanic. A strong, proud man who'd spent years working with his hands, solving problems under pressure. But now, he was facing one he couldn't fix with tools. "Doc," he said, "everything just feels slower. It's like my body's lost its spark." His heart rate and blood pressure were stable. But one number caught my attention: his oxygen saturation was low, just enough to explain what he was feeling. Here's what many don't realize. As we age, especially when we're dealing with chronic inflammation or acidic blood chemistry, our red blood cells struggle to carry and release oxygen efficiently. That's where baking soda steps in again. When your blood is more alkaline, hemoglobin, the protein that carries oxygen, works better. It holds oxygen when needed and releases it right when the tissue calls for it. I introduced David to a simple daily practice: baking soda in water on an empty stomach just before a light walk or breathing routine. Within a few weeks, he wasn't just feeling better. He told me something had changed. "Doc, things are working again. Not just in the bedroom. I've got more clarity, more spark. It's like something switched back on." That switch? It was oxygen finally reaching its destination. And when your tissue is properly oxygenated, arousal doesn't feel like work. It feels natural, responsive, and real. Benefit number 5. Boosts mitochondrial energy in smooth muscle cells. Even when blood is flowing and oxygen is available, there's one more player behind the scenes that most men never hear about, but without it, erections can't be sustained. I'm talking about the smooth muscle cells inside the penis. These are the cells that don't just allow blood to enter, they trap it, hold it, and maintain the erection. And at the heart of these cells is something even smaller: mitochondria. These tiny engines produce the energy your body needs to keep things going. Without strong mitochondrial activity in your penile tissue, your erection fades too fast or never reaches full strength in the first place. That's what was happening to Joseph, a 68-year-old retired contractor. He sat across from me with a look I've seen too many times: frustration mixed with quiet embarrassment. "I can get started," he said, "but halfway through, it's like the power just cuts out. I feel like I'm running out of gas." Joseph wasn't imagining it. As we age, mitochondrial function naturally declines, especially when our internal environment is acidic or inflamed. The smooth muscle gets tired, and the body can't hold the blood in place. Here's where baking soda offers a subtle but powerful boost. It helps by reducing the buildup of lactic acid, a waste product that tires your cells out. and supports a more alkaline environment where mitochondria can work more efficiently. The result? More cellular energy, stronger muscle tone, and better erectile performance. Joseph started a routine of using baking soda in water 3 times a week, paired with light morning stretches and deep breathing. After a month, he said something simple but powerful. "Doc, I don't have to force it anymore. My body feels like it's catching up with my mind, and that's exactly what cellular energy feels like. It's not aggressive, not artificial. It's quiet, steady strength that holds you in the moment." Benefit number 6, enhances testosterone receptor sensitivity. Now, let's talk hormones. Most men who come to see me have one big question: is my testosterone low? And in many cases, the answer is no. Their numbers are fine, but they still feel tired, disconnected, and unmotivated, not just sexually, but in life. That's because testosterone alone isn't enough. Your body needs to be able to use it, and that depends on how sensitive your receptors are. These are the little gateways in your cells that respond to testosterone's signal. And when they're dulled by years of inflammation, acidity, or stress, the message just doesn't get through. That was the case with Ibrahim, a 64-year-old former police officer. Still strong in appearance, sharp in conversation, but something was off. "Doc," he said, "they told me my testosterone's fine, but I don't feel fine. I feel flat, like I'm running on fumes." I explained that what he was likely dealing with wasn't a testosterone shortage, it was resistance. His receptors were sluggish. And here's where baking soda plays another unexpected role. By reducing acidity and inflammation in the body, baking soda helps clean up the environment those receptors operate in. It clears the static so the hormonal signal can get through. It doesn't boost testosterone levels directly, but it helps your body respond to the testosterone you already have. Ibrahim began a small routine, baking soda in water a few mornings each week, plus some resistance training to naturally support hormone function. 6 weeks later, he walked into my office with more color in his face and a different energy. "My drive's coming back," he said, "not just with my wife. Everywhere. I feel like I'm re-engaging with life again." And that's what better receptor sensitivity can unlock. A stronger connection between your hormones and how you actually feel. Benefit number 7. Detoxifies the liver and kidneys gently. You might not think of your liver or kidneys when you're wondering why your performance has slowed down, but these 2 organs quietly shape your sexual health more than you realize. They're in charge of cleaning your blood, balancing your hormones, and filtering out the toxins that build up over time. And when they're overloaded, everything else in your system starts to feel heavy, sluggish, and stuck. That's what was happening to Vincent, a 70-year-old retired civil servant. Clean diet, stayed active, never drank. But lately, he said, "I just feel toxic. Not sick, just off. Like I'm carrying something I can't get rid of." We ran his labs. Slight elevation in uric acid. Mild kidney stress. Some liver congestion. Nothing serious, but just enough to explain what he was feeling. And in men over 60, this subtle dysfunction can quietly choke performance, disrupt hormone conversion, and limit blood flow where it's needed most. Here's how baking soda helps. It reduces the acid load on your kidneys and supports smoother filtration, so waste products leave the body more easily. It also promotes better bile flow from the liver, helping break down toxins and regulate hormone balance. Not aggressively, gently. Perfect for older men who need support without overburdening the system. I gave Vincent a plan: baking soda every other morning in warm water, followed by a glass of lemon water and light hydration through the day. 3 weeks later, he returned and said something simple but powerful. "I feel lighter, His energy was up, his blood pressure stabilized, and his sense of well-being started to return, slowly but noticeably. That's the quiet magic of better detox. When your liver and kidneys are working better, your whole body feels clearer, and your performance follows. Benefit number 8. Reduces sugar cravings and supports weight loss. One of the biggest hidden enemies of male vitality after 60 is belly fat. Not just for how it looks, but for what it does behind the scenes. That stubborn fat around your midsection acts like an estrogen factory. It takes your testosterone, the very hormone that drives your energy and libido, and converts it into estrogen through an enzyme called aromatase. The more belly fat you have, the more testosterone you lose. And what makes that belly fat so hard to get rid of? For many men, it starts with sugar cravings, those sudden irresistible urges for carbs, snacks, or something sweet late at night. These cravings are more than willpower issues. They're biochemical, often triggered by unstable blood sugar and poor pH balance inside your body. That was the case with Bernard, 66, a retired school principal. He sat down in my office, patting his stomach with a sigh. "Doc, this right here, it's killing my drive. I eat better than I ever have, but it won't go away. And the cravings? It's like I'm not even in control." I told Bernard something most men never hear. Belly fat is not just a storage problem, it's a hormonal one. And when your internal chemistry is off, especially your pH, those cravings hit harder and stick around longer. Baking soda helped change that. By creating a more alkaline environment in the body, it supports more stable blood sugar levels throughout the day. That reduces the spikes and crashes that trigger cravings. And over time, this helps your metabolism shift from fat storage mode to fat burning mode, especially in the belly. Bernard started simple, baking soda and lemon water first thing in the morning, followed by a high-protein breakfast and light movement. Within 4 weeks, the cravings calmed down. His belly began to slim. And more than that, he told me, "I feel in control again, like my body's listening to me for the first time in years." And when your body's responding, your hormones follow. Less fat, fewer cravings, more testosterone, more confidence. Benefit number 9, helps calm the nervous system. Now, let's shift to something most men never associate with their performance struggles, the nervous system. Because even if your blood is flowing, your hormones are balanced, and your oxygen is spot on, nothing happens if your brain is sending the wrong signals at the wrong time. This is more common than people realize. As we age, the body can get stuck in a state of chronic stress, even without us knowing it. And that stress doesn't just live in your thoughts. It lives in your nerves, your muscles, your blood vessels. It shows up in the bedroom as hesitation, anxiety, or simply no physical response when everything else seems ready. That's exactly what was happening to Emeka, a 70-year-old retired military officer. Upright posture, calm tone, but a deep frustration behind his eyes. "Doc," he said, "I love my wife. I want to be close. But every time we try, my body freezes. I feel like I'm failing her, and I don't know why." This wasn't about testosterone. It wasn't about blood flow. It was about his nervous system, specifically his body being locked in fight or flight mode. When that happens, your brain sees intimacy as a threat, not a connection. And it shuts down blood flow where you need it most. Here's where baking soda makes another quiet impact. By reducing systemic inflammation and rebalancing your body's pH, it helps shift your nervous system out of stress mode and into what we call the parasympathetic state, the rest and recover mode. That's the state where blood vessels open, heart rate calms, and your body becomes receptive again. I paired baking soda with simple breath work and a slow, mindful morning routine for Emeka. Within a month, he told me, "It's like my body finally feels safe again. I can relax. I can respond. That shift wasn't just physical, it was emotional. And it made all the difference. When your nervous system feels calm, connection becomes possible. Not forced, not mechanical, but real. That's the kind of balance we're aiming for. Benefit number 10. Combines powerfully with lemon or apple cider vinegar. After everything we've covered, blood flow, nitric oxide, hormones, inflammation, oxygen, mitochondria, even your nervous system, there's one more layer worth mentioning. It's a simple combination I've seen help men over 60 activate all of these benefits with even greater impact. And it's probably already sitting in your kitchen. Baking soda, when paired with either lemon juice or apple cider vinegar, becomes more than just a basic powder. It turns into a gentle, natural reaction that supports digestion, lowers internal acidity, stimulates bile flow, and enhances nutrient absorption, all of which quietly supports sexual performance from the inside out. That's exactly what helped Musa, a 74-year-old widower who was finally ready to reconnect and open up to intimacy again. I feel rusted shut, he told me with a nervous smile. Like my engine needs oil. He'd tried walking, eating well, even supplements, but something was still missing. So I gave him a simple morning ritual: warm water, a squeeze of lemon, and a quarter teaspoon of baking soda. Sip slowly on an empty stomach. That's it. A few weeks later, he came back beaming. "Doc," he said, "it's like I woke up. My digestion's better, I've got more clarity, and I feel like myself again." He wasn't talking about a miracle. He was talking about balance. That natural, foundational chemistry that lets everything else start working again. This pairing isn't just a tip, it's a gateway. When you combine baking soda with lemon or ACV, you amplify its effects without overwhelming your system. You help your gut, your blood vessels, your hormones, and your nerves function more smoothly. And when your body works in harmony, performance becomes natural again, not forced, not stressful, just part of who you are. If you've made it this far, it tells me one thing: you're not just curious, you care. You care about your health, your energy, your connection. And maybe most importantly, you're open to learning what your doctor may have never told you. Today, we've walked through 10 surprising ways something as humble as baking soda can quietly support your sexual health after 60. Not with gimmicks, not with pills that mask symptoms, but by working with your body, restoring balance, calming inflammation, improving oxygen and blood flow, and even helping your hormones communicate the way they're supposed to. You learned how baking soda helps your blood vessels open more freely, how it protects the very cells that trigger erections, and how it boosts energy at a cellular level. We looked at how it supports detox, reduces cravings, and resets the nervous system, all critical factors in performance that often go ignored. And finally, we saw how combining it with lemon or apple cider vinegar can turn a simple powder into a powerful daily habit. None of this is hype. It's quiet science, real chemistry, small shifts that stack up over time. And I want to leave you with this. If you've been frustrated, if you felt like your body is working against you, or you've silently accepted that your best days are behind you, don't. Because they're not. You are not broken. Your body may just need the right environment to start working again. Start small. Be consistent. Give your body what it needs to recover and watch what happens. If this video gave you something to think about, or even just made you feel seen, give it a like. Leave a comment below, even if it's just 1 if it resonated, or 0 if it didn't. I read every single one. And if you know a friend, brother, or neighbor who might need this, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Your health matters. And no matter your age, you still deserve to feel strong, connected, and fully alive. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp, stay kind to your body, and I'll see you in the next one.